All right, welcome back to the channel. It's your boy Fanon, and in this video, we're going to be in the 135-pound division where there are rumors swirling out of pure ignorance about Gervonta Tank Davis and how Gervonta Tank Davis can be sold to DAZN, and that Steven Espinoza is in negotiations with Haymon to see that that doesn't happen. Or at least that is my understanding of what is being said. And let me tell you, even if that's not exactly what's being said, the whole idea is absolutely ludicrous. And I'm going to explain that to you in this video. All right, welcome back to the channel. It's your boy Fanon, and we're going to be in the 135-pound division where we are constantly having to debunk silliness that is all being designed to try to make certain fighters look bad and make it look as if they don't have control over their own careers and who they can fight. What am I speaking of? I am speaking of absolutely vicious yet idiotic. That's a crazy mix, vicious and stupid. Vicious and idiotic rumors out about Gervonta Davis's rights being sold by Steven Espinoza of Showtime to DAZN, and Haymon being negotiating what to prevent that from happening. But what is the effect of it? The effect of it is that Gervonta Davis is not his own boss. And so because Showtime owns his rights, and his rights can be sold to anybody. Before I get into this dumbfoundingly ignorant statement, let me welcome you back to the channel. If you are new to the channel, please accept my invitation to hit the subscribe button, hit the bell icon so you can be notified of when we release more videos. And if you are a longtime subscriber and supporter of the channel, thank you so much for your continued support. It is absolutely essential, and it means so much to the channel. Thank you, Barbara D. Thank you, Matty O. Thank you, John Boy. I was so happy to see you in the chat, man. Hope you're doing well. But let's get into this, man. Okay, first and foremost, because I'm going to have to explain some things to you. Going to have to explain something to you. First, the statement that Gervonta Davis's rights are owned by Showtime. What does that mean? The simple truth of it is, it can mean a lot of different things. It could mean promotional rights. It could mean, let's just take the two that we're going to talk about today. Promotional rights, and distribution rights. Two different types of rights. So when you say that Showtime owns Gervonta Davis's rights, what types of rights are you talking about? Number one, the way that it has been represented is if they were talking about promotional rights. Because Showtime owns Gervonta Davis's promotional rights, that means Gervonta Davis cannot fight the people that Gervonta Davis wants to fight. That he is not his own boss, and that the decision about who he fights can be sold from Showtime to DAZN or to Amazon Prime or to anybody else by Showtime. Here's two problems. Number one, let's talk about the rights. Promotional rights. Showtime is not a promoter. They are not a licensed promoter in any state. That's not the business they're in. They are into media, into the distribution of live sports. They were in the sense that we're talking about Gervonta Davis. They were involved in the distribution of live sporting events, televising it, putting it on apps. They do not have promotional rights. So guess what that means? That means they do not pick the fighters that Gervonta Davis fights. That would be a promotional right. The right to promote the fight. And if Gervonta Davis and the promoter do not agree about a fight, then Gervonta Davis cannot fight him because the promoter has to agree. He has an exclusive promotional right. Now, if he doesn't want to fight if Gervonta doesn't want to fight a particular fighter, I'm not sure, there's not, if that limits the ability of the promoter, because the promoter can't force him into the ring, but you get the drift. Hopefully you get the drift. Showtime is not a promoter. The rights that they would hold would be the distribution rights of the events that Gervonta Davis puts on or fights in. Do you want to air this fight? That has nothing to do with Gervonta Davis's ability to fight who he wants to fight. Because once again, Showtime would own the distribution rights, not the promotional rights, because Showtime's not a promoter. Now, let's move on to the second part of it. Showtime owning these rights. No, Showtime would not own those rights because Showtime doesn't even own Showtime. Showtime is owned by Paramount Plus, which means that Paramount Plus ultimately owns the rights to the distribution. Now, here is a problem. When you are no longer going to distribute it anymore, what happens when you have distribution rights for a period of time? And because distribution rights are only granted for a particular amount of time, they don't run in perpetuity. In perpetuity means forever. They do not run usually in perpetuity. So how long would they hold them would be the question. And we don't know that. However, it's safe to assume that it's not forever, and that the masters, just like in the music industry, are owned by the PBC. And because Gervonta Davis has his own promotional company, that his name, likeness, and the like are owned by Gervonta Davis. So Gervonta Davis actually would own and get revenue from the masters that the distribution contract is in place to distribute. None of this has anything to do with his ability to fight, his ability or inability to fight Devin Haney, which is what all this poppycock was put out there to communicate, that Gervonta Davis is not his own boss. Now, unfortunately, not everybody has the educational background, and that's not a good thing, that's not a bad thing. Educational background to decipher between the difference between distribution rights, promotional rights, the ownership of Showtime, and what the effect of the ownership of Showtime by Paramount Plus has to do on the assignability of the distribution rights that were agreed with by Showtime. What is the assignment? What does the assignability, for lack of a better word, mean? Their actual ability to transfer to somebody. It very may well be that because they are no longer in the live sports distribution network, that dissolves them from their distribution rights. Correct? Absolutely correct. So we don't know anything based off the fact that, and this is the real dumb part of this, just because Gervonta Davis said Al Haymon was meeting with Steven Espinoza. How all of this came from that tweet. First of all, it was Al Haymon Gervonta's looking to leave Al Haymon because Al Haymon didn't call him last night. If that ain't some gossipy, now I know people think gossip is anything. No, man, gossip is when it is just, you're just out here just just grabbing stuff from anywhere that you have no found basis in. But anyway, if somebody doesn't like the world gossip on that, that is just some extreme reaching right there. Anyway, that's my take on the matter. That's all a bunch of nonsense. At least from what we know, that's nonsense. There's no reason to believe it. It's an incredible stretch, but it is what it is. You let me know what you think in the comment section. And with that, I'm out. Peace.